Hi everyone. Sure hope you're having a good day. I'm outside sharing some time with the Lord, but I wanted to share a couple thoughts with you. I know a lot of people struggle and wonder about, how do I do God's will? How do I know what God's will is? I want to know God's will and I want to do it. Well, I was reminded of a psalm. Psalm 40 verse 8 says, "I desire to do your will, O God." I think that might be in your heart. I desire to do your will, O God. And so this is, how can we do that? How can we do God's will? Well, the psalmist in that same psalm, chapter 40, verses 9, 10, and 11, tells us 5 ways that we can do his will. And so just real quickly, I want to share those 5 ways with you, because if you want to do God's will, these are 5 ways to do it. Number 1, he says, "I will proclaim your saving acts." In other words, I will talk about how you saved me, God. If I want to do God's will, I want to tell others how he saved me. So you can tell others how he saved you. That is doing his will. Number 2, I do not seal my lips. How can I do God's will? I can do God's will by not closing my lips, not sealing my lips. I might have to wear a mask, but that's not going to shut me up, right? Right? So we can do God's will by not sealing our lips, not being quiet about the Lord. Number 3, I do not hide your righteousness. I do not hide your righteousness. In other words, I do what's right before God. I'm not going to hide it. Yep, I don't do that because that doesn't please God. Yep, I'm not going to do that because that doesn't please God. That's not righteousness. So if we're wanting to do the Lord's will, what's another way? We don't hide his righteousness. We live righteousness. Cool? Number 4, I speak of your faithfulness. Lord, I'm going to talk about how faithful you are. When I turn away, when I'm strong, you're faithful. In every situation, Lord, you've been faithful. I've never seen you forsake the righteous, never. And so how can I do God's will? I want to do God's will. How do I do it? I always talk about the faithfulness of the Lord. You always talk about the faithfulness of the Lord. And lastly, he says in Psalm 40, verse 10, I do not conceal your love. I don't hide your love. I let everyone know about your love. The guy standing in front of 7-Eleven who wants money. The lady at the market who needs help with her kids. The person in my family who's struggling. I don't conceal your love. That's one way of 5 that I can do God's will. And so I trust that you'll accept those as ways to show God's love, and not just God's love, but to do God's will, because to obey is better than sacrifice. So go, please God, and enjoy doing it. Have a great day. Go with God.